You get more funding and you think, oh wow, that must be fantastic, you'll feel a lot safer. But it's kind of like someone's just handed you a much bigger weapon. You can just do a lot more damage. My name's John Foster. I'm the co-founder of Smartkarma, an investment research network based in Singapore. I kind of hinted at it before, I feel my job has fundamentally changed. I have a role to play where I think when you're an earlier stage startup, you're kind of doing everything. Your job is to sort of, have a vision and go out there and do everything. But as you scale, that's not your role anymore. And you need to have more and more people and more organizational structure. And we use our OKRs in a very disciplined way across each of our different KBUs. Key business units. We have our OKRs set for each of those, and we set them every single quarter, and we go back and we navel gaze about how well or otherwise we did, what went right, what went wrong, what can we do to adjust or change, or what do we need to innovate. If I look back on 2018 for us, and for me particularly, 2018 was probably the most challenging year I felt I'd ever had in the company, because it was when we had to really restructure and rethink about how our organisation actually operated and how we fitted together. So all of the things we mentioned, OKRs and KBUs and reporting structures and things like that, have all come about in 2018, and I would say getting that right has been an enormous challenge. I think if you're a startup in the fintech space, it's easy to look at some of the incumbent technology that's out there and feel you've got a relatively easy opportunity. There hasn't been a great deal of investment, or it's been done in a very poor way on a very poor background, or huge bureaucracies that haven't really been able to move on or focus or invest in that. So you can compare yourself to them and feel that you're ahead of the game. But we sort of feel in the long run, you can't do that. You need to compare yourself to the best people out there. So for us, for example, we're about content and content sharing at the end of the day. We're a network to enable people to share content. So we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to the way a bank might put their research together and what their platform might look like. We should be comparing ourselves to Netflix and saying, how are they doing and how are they making themselves? Just go, how do you find content which is just fantastic without thinking too much about it? And once you hold yourself up to that kind of a lens, it helps you continue to develop your product. I think you need to have a focus, and we learnt that sometimes the hard way. When you're a new business or a startup particularly, there's lots of exciting things that you can see that you can do. There's a huge amount of possibility. And as we've just touched on, the operational complexity of taking what's an amazing possibility or a vision through into something which has got some real scale is extremely complicated. So I think one of the things I would say has been vitally important for us is maintaining our focus. What's the thing we're doing today? What's the thing we're doing today? And making sure that while you might, an analogy I've used is, if you're growing a tree from a seed, when the tree first grows, it's a very weak little trunk with only a couple of leaves. But when you're the founder, your job is to look up and imagine the branches and the canopy above you. If you try to grow that canopy straight away, you're just going to fall over. So I would say what's been very important for us is not allowing ourselves to do that, thinking very carefully about what our trunk is going to be and focusing on, in quite a narrow-minded way, I suppose, on that aspect of the business. Are we focused on making sure that what we've got and how we create it is really focused on what our customers would want us to do, not what we think our business would like or what we think looks cool from a tech perspective or anything else? Is everything we're doing helping to solve their problems for them? So I think having that line of questioning all the time has been really important too. Effectively believing in your product, but also making sure that you're constantly checking that that's the case. You have a good reason to believe in your product. I mean, I've often sort of joked about this, and funding. You get more funding and you think, oh wow, that must be fantastic, you'll feel a lot safer. But it's kind of like someone's just handed you a much bigger weapon. You can just do a lot more damage. You know, given probably all the businesses here in TechQuartier, and we're certainly one of them, you're doing something which hasn't really been done before. There isn't a playbook. So just because you're doing it on a larger scale, it doesn't mean that you know, the uncertainty of what you're doing is not there, that need to constantly prove that you do have a product market fit, that you're doing something valuable and relevant is there every day for sure. And certainly from my perspective too, as our companies grow and the number of people that work for us and things have grown, there's a sense of responsibility that takes over. You know, it's not really about you anymore. You know, I have a job, is to make sure that all of those people now who work for us and believe in what we're doing, you know, have an opportunity to succeed and have an opportunity to do that.